What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? You see it, you see it. You hear that theme music, you see these beautiful faces. We are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. I'm your boy, Thommy With an H. I'm the voice of the people. I speak for y'all.
I'm your boy, Big Tech Dog, your favorite friend and lovable loudmouth. Hey, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
Are you ready?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, well, let's get
canceled. On tonight's episode, we have to do a follow-up of last week's episode. Now, we did have the Should You Watch the Diddy documentary. That was our question prompt from last week, and I actually went ahead and did it. At the end of the show, I said, yes, I'm going to go ahead and watch. And then there was a phone call made that very next morning that said, hey, bestie, call cuz. I got to talk to this nigga. So Lady T hit me up. It was like, hey, call cuz. I got to talk to this nigga. And then she was like, but before you do, you got to watch the doc. But he is talking like he a fan. He talking like a fan out here, cuz. So cousin, I'm gonna let you get to that soon, but I'm gonna give you my point of view on some things from this document.
Before you do, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. We need y'all to please like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you interact with us like this person we're gonna talk about today did. You know what I'm saying?
But put it in the comments. Don't just call. You can just call us, but don't just call us. Drop it in the comments.
Listen, y'all, if you know us, you can call us, but put it in the comments first. Give us some engagement first, all right? We appreciate it. We really do. And we will, as you will see tonight, we will take your comments in and we will give our responses to your comments. And that's what we will do this evening, and we will do it in the evenings going forward, as long as y'all are engaging with us, man. We appreciate that. Thank y'all. And also, if you like what you're watching right now and you want to catch up on it tomorrow, you can find us everywhere you get your audio podcasts. We will be there. Just search the Let's Get Canceled podcast and all of your audio podcast streaming platforms, and we're there for you the very next day. That's on Thursday. Tomorrow, we will be there, all right? Thank y'all so much.
Straight up and down. Love y'all for that. But yeah, going into this Diddy doc, and again, I was skeptical about joining because I just didn't want to see the harsh faces and the hard stories and the cries and tears and all this. And luckily, getting into it, I didn't see that early, so it kind of kept me engaged.
So wait, I know you were worried about like some buffoonery, and you also worried about the graphic images of it just being like a trauma doc type of thing.
Exactly.
And so you found it to be what I told you. I told you, I'm like, it is definitely going to describe the trauma, but it's not going to be what you think it is.
Yeah, they didn't live there. They didn't live in the sad stories. They lived in the Diddy's a piece of shit. They lived there. They lived there, but it was not so much a sad sack story. It was more of, he's been doing this forever, and this is how we got to that court date. So that part I was definitely glad about. They did a great job in this doc. Yes. Now, again, there may be some legal situations that may come down the line based on how they got this information.
Did you find out, like, so I remember last week I told you, like, allegedly there was a guy who hadn't gotten paid. Now, since then, I've seen comments and press releases
and some
saying that
things.
The man it was never over a dispute about money or anything like that. But it didn't say that he illegally got it. What they alluded to was like, you know, you trust people in the industry to do things.
It was kind of immoral. But Netflix says they paid who they were supposed to pay. So there's nothing on their end that can come back. So the doc's not coming down. It's not coming down. Now, Diddy's going to sue somebody. He's going to sue somebody. But I doubt the doc's going to come down anytime soon. Look, 50, if he got 4 episodes, he got 15. So there may be part 2 and 3 that come up of this also, because I've got the footage, and you know how it is with 50. If you say something stupid, I'm just gonna do something else. So just leave me alone. Let me go. But whoever it was that actually recorded this and pieced all of this together and did all of the researches, they did a phenomenal job. So that is something that, again, as far as entertainment value goes, they did a great job with this. Now, some of the things that I just took note of, and one thing was the story of Diddy's dad and how he was supposedly connected to the Frank Lucases and that sort of thing, his mom being that chick. To me, the way that Diddy acts, it seems as if he's just attempting to be what his father was or live that type of life that his father allegedly led. And I think that's where a lot of this bravado comes from. A lot of this need to be in charge, this need to be the guy. It's because my dad was that guy.
Just so you know, that allegedly is doing a whole lot of work right now, because that his dad allegedly being all that has been in dispute for years.
It has.
We don't. Diddy Daddy could have been gangster in Harlem, or he could have been the biggest simp. And that's where, depending on who you talk to, that's what you get.
Right. But again, when he mentioned in there that going to the funeral and the chinchillas and all that kind of stuff there, like his mother had him, even if it wasn't true, his mother had him believing in a persona that he is now in his growing is trying to encapsulate. He's trying to put this, wear that because I got to be the man because my dad was. Let my mom tell it anyway. My dad was the man. He was hanging out with the guys, so I have to be a part of that as well. So I think that, to me, gives me a little bit of understanding of how his mind kind of works in attempting to be something that just trying to live up to a legend, and I'm not meaning a legend person. I'm talking about the legend of, you know what I mean? Like just live up to a story. So
as a complete side note, that's why I have a problem with dudes, street dudes or otherwise, like whatever it is. I'm not commenting on your lifestyle. What I'm commenting on is what you teach your kids. Because what ends up happening is that whether you think is right or wrong, like my kids know pieces of some of the stuff that I've done and pieces of some of the situations that I've been in, but I've never presented it to them as, I've run the thing, because that's not, whether I did or didn't mean I don't want them to try to emulate that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So the things that I pushed standing up for yourself, being proud of who you are. I pushed going to church. I pushed working hard. You know what I mean? Those are the more, and those are all factual parts of me. Right. But the other stuff were parts of me too, but that's not the stuff that I want to put out in front of my kids.
And like when we did the family episode for Thanksgiving, and little cuz was on there talking about, man, Thommy was young too. Well, the things that I would always tell him, it would always be, I was there to give credibility to what I'm about to tell you next.
Right.
And then I'm going to give you the cautionary tale of what it is. I'm never going to glorify what it is. I'm going to tell you that I was there. I'm going to let you know. So I'm credible in this situation. And what you should do next is not that part. When we, again, that just side notes here. When he was a kid, and I would tell him all the time not to do certain things. It's stupid. It makes no sense, blah, blah, blah. We just had a conversation for Thanksgiving. And I was like, you remember what I told you? He was like, man, you told me, man. He was like, most niggas hustling ain't making but minimum wage. He was like, man, I got a legit job. I got insurance. I got this. He was like, man, I got way more than I had when I was out there. He was like, I spend these 8 hours at work. He was like, what would I be doing at the house? Just playing on the game. I ain't making no money, but I'm gonna spend some money. He was like, man, it all makes, and I was just sitting there telling him, like, I've been telling you this since you were 14, 13 years old, so that you would not go down that particular path. However, you had to see it for yourself. And then when you're in it, it's a little bit too fuzzy for you to understand that you're not making money. Because you see some money, you see a bunch of money one day, and then you realize, like, I got to ask somebody for something a couple of days later. And you don't realize when you balance that out, you just made minimum wage for 2 weeks. If that.
Because you can hit a lick today and have 2 bands in your pocket, but you might not hit a lick like that again for the next month. And guess what? That $2,000 for the month, that means you made $1,000 in that 2-week paycheck. That means you making less than minimum wage. Like, let's be real. Like, if you do the math, but you can't what they say, you can't see the elephant because you're too close.
Right.
All you see is that wall.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But if you step back and look, oh snap, that's a whole, and that's what that whole game is. So any of y'all youngsters who watching right now, man, just understand something. It feels good. I ain't gonna lie to you. It feels good when people fear you or people respect you, quote unquote, and you
just
make
to be known, because most of y'all niggas just want to be seen, you want to be known, you want to be recognized as that dude, and also you want to be lazy as hell because you don't want to go put in that extra work. But when you don't, when you realize that what you doing, you staying up until 4-5 o'clock in the morning working.
Yeah,
can't go to sleep because you waiting on somebody to come. Oh, he said he on the way. Man, that's gonna be $100. And you will wait up for 3 hours for $100.
$100
that never comes.
No. You know how I know it never comes? Because there's been plenty of time when I was at $100 on the way, and I ran into somebody on the way there that could get it for $75. But guess what? You ain't never gonna see that $100, bro.
Exactly. but as you were saying, like the persona of who his father was supposed to be, and the way that his mother, that they say that his mother raised him, and the way that she propped him up.
Right.
I think that is just something that gives him that sense of, I'm not even going to say it's arrogance or bravado. It's a false sense of whatever it is, because I don't believe it's real. I don't believe it's real. That gangster that he is, because someone mentioned in there, they were like, he's not of that. He's not really of that street culture. But when he gets in that boardroom, he's the street nigga in there.
He's as close
he
to
gets to be that studio gangster. He gets to be that in studio gangster type. So
every black man who has been even remotely around that type of culture, when you decide to go straight and you end up in a business meeting or you end up you're the most gangster thing in that area. They look at you and they automatically just think that you're the biggest gang, so you can tell them anything. So and then when you get the money, you go out and get real gangster niggas to get around you. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's one of those. I'm disappointed, but it's almost like he was chasing the ghost of his father, like you said, and he didn't know whether or not his dad was real, so he had to make himself real, which leads us down the path of those first interactions with some of those CEOs and stuff that I'm
and that was kind of interesting. Now here's another comparison that I've figured through this.
Right.
And it happened in, I think it was episode 3 when he went back to Harlem.
The washing the hands thing?
During that washing the hands portion. But here's what I came up. I was like, this nigga went full OJ. He went OJ Simpson. You have turned your back on this community all this time, and then when shit starts hitting the fan, I gotta go uptown. I gotta be with my people. You gotta let them know that you're there. Now, and here's another thing that I noticed. Everyone was so surprised to see him. Like when I don't know anybody to the celebrity status of Diddy. I'm saying that. But I know a bunch of niggas who made it out.
Right.
And you would see them around all the time. So when you see him, it's not a big hoopla. It's not a big ordeal because he always come back and give him back. He's always coming back to do something. He's accessible.
You and I had this situation recently at the basketball tournament.
Yes.
Vince Carter walks in. Now, this is our second or third year. Vince Carter's there every year.
Yes.
Like he comes in with that team every year.
And you don't just say you're like, he's back.
Right. Oh, that's Vince. So, of course, we get on the microphone and big up Vince Carter because he's something special. He is a big time. But most people are like, hey, he ain't getting mobbed with people. Like, it's just like, hey, there go Vince.
Because we're used to seeing you.
He be around.
Right. So it's not that big of a deal. So then when you finally do come back, I was like, this nigga just pulled an OJ. Okay, I get it. And then the first lady that said that they saw her on tape being essayed.
Yeah.
And someone told her that they saw her on tape. And I have not seen the movie, but I've heard about the movie. Niggas Get Shot Every Day, B. What's the name of that movie?
Oh, Paid in Full?
That's what it's called, Paid in Full.
Yeah.
So I've heard about the portions where they said the dude Rico would record himself banging chicks, go to the club and play it on the dang on chunk.
Yeah. Shout out camera.
Yeah. So apparently this was a real thing, and Diddy would see this happening with the real guy. So growing up not of it, but around it. You get to see this is how they do, so you feel this is normal. And now it's I'm gonna do it too. Now, here's where the problem comes in is why would you drug them? Why would you record them drugs? And why would you play it? You're not Alpo
at all.
You're Sean. So that part got a little bit weird to me. But I was like, these are the things that, again, you see it, you don't understand how they're able to do it, but you see it around, you see it happening, so you figure I have to do it as well. And these are some of those things that I noticed through some of the situations. It's like, why would you do that? Like, put yourself in that kind of position. And I think that's when the feds decided to come in, because they were like, I know he got it on tape. I know he's got it on tape.
What I think is part of Diddy's problem is that when absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got so much power and you get out of situations so often, sometimes I think that's a detriment. I almost prefer that if you're young and get into something, that they smack you real hard in the beginning, so you know that's potential, instead of being able to skate by. Because I don't care how much time you spend in front of a camera talking about something. I like to thank God and my mama for praying me out of this situation. If you ain't had to feel it, you don't really believe you can be felt.
Get touched.
That's like
you don't know that stove hot for real.
Right. It's like niggas who talk a bunch of smack and they got homeboys around them who can fight for them. If you ain't never gotten punched in the mouth, if you ain't never got snuck before, if you ain't never got jumped before, you don't know how to talk to niggas right. I'm telling you.
Like you can tell, like people have said about your president, like you can tell he ain't never been smacked in the mouth.
Right.
you can tell nobody ever just smacked him. Because you say, and that really is the Diddy thing. Like, he does talk like he's never been socked before. He's reckless.
There are people who I have people in my life right now that I know. I don't really care how big you are. I'm a big guy, and I fear no man. However, I ain't stupid. So if I run up on some 6'5", 300-pound solid nigga, I'm gonna try and talk first. Now, if it has to go down, it's got to go down. But what's the point in getting punched in the face if you don't have to?
Right. So, I would try to negotiate with Mike Tyson. I would try to negotiate with him before I ended up having to do something.
If I have to take the ass whooping, I got to take the ass whooping. It is what it is.
Not long, though. He's going to hit me a couple times and I'm running, though. I'm going to skate. I'm not sitting in there letting him knock me out. He ain't going to power me out, dog. I ain't doing
it. Y'all got Mike Tyson. Y'all have Iron Mike on the shirt.
I'm okay with retreat.
But see, there have been people, like the difference between like a and a DMX. And I know DMX talked like it is what it is. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Because I've been slapped a bunch of times and I'm okay with being slapped.
Right. Because when you get punched in the face and you realize, oh, it's not really that bad.
Yes, it is.
No. It's not as bad. It's not world-endingly bad. Like, so it's like, oh, snap, that hurt. But you know what'll fix it? Some ice pack and some good pussy. That'll fix it. So when you find out, like, okay, cool, I can take a punch. You find out, A, I don't want to feel that punch, so I'm gonna talk. And B, if it has to go down, though, it can go that way, and I know I'll live through it.
Right.
Diddy's talking like he's never had to have that self-realization. Like he's never had to look in that mirror like this and go, you know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas know what I'm talking about.
Everyone out here just did it.
Every nigga had to go, God, Lee, man, that nigga got me good, boy. You know what I'm saying? God, Lee.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So it's an interesting thing. Now, I want to bring this up now. And because you're at that point in this documentary where this is pertinent. In this documentary, what you see, and I think, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I think I brought this up the last show, where he will get close to the man, and then take that man's woman, and then move on, and move up the ladder. And he did that the whole time. Well, you got a phone call. And so I'm gonna tell y'all like this, I'm at work, my phone rings, and I was right in the middle of something, and I didn't get to the phone in time. So I called you back, and you said, hold on a minute. And next thing I know, It's you, me, and somebody else on the phone. Lady T, was her name? Lady T's on the phone. Now, y'all might see her in the comments a lot and stuff like that. This is how she greeted me. This is how I know she's a real fan. She greeted me. She goes, "What up, cousin?" I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought it was one of the cousins that was on the phone. I didn't know who it was. It's like, "What up, cousin?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" Trying to figure out who it is.
She said, "No."
Like, "How you supposed to end? What up?" I'm like, "Oh." So we did the whole intro. We did the whole show intro. I was like, "All right, cool." And she goes, "Hey, I watched the da-da-da-da-da." And she was really sweet and really nice. And then I feel like we went way off the rails. Like she said that I sounded like a fan. Like I was a Diddy fan. And I don't know how to take that, bro. I feel some type of way about that because it's like, wait a minute. You didn't say I was a fan of the era. You didn't say I was a fan of the doc. You ain't say I was a fan of you said I was a fan of this nigga. Yeah. And understand something clear. I'm a fan of my daddy. My daddy's a great man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of my uncles. They're great guys. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not fanning out over their nigga. But anyway, she had some comments because she said to me that it sounded like I was a Diddy fan. And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." And then she proceeded to tell me why. Because apparently she and I watched two different documentaries. Now, before we get into what she said, do you think that you're closer to what I thought about the documentary or what she thought about the documentary? We're going to tell you what she thought.
I'm actually somewhere in the middle of it all. Like, I am not as far on the conspiracy side of it, but you did lean a little further on the, I can't believe that bitch. I ain't believing that white bitch. I ain't believe, like, and right. I do. That's a victim that I believe her.
Really? You believe Aubrey?
I believe her. And I had no idea who she was. Bruh, here's the thing. When she read the email that she saved from Diddy from 20 years ago, and he's in there talking like, "Hey, you gonna hit me up when you're ready to do what I want to do. I'm finna go beat my meat, and I'll be thinking about you." Like, is that not way too much for your boss to send you that? Let your boss send that email to you.
That is absolutely true. But that is not what she was complaining about. She complained about some call that she got from somebody else who said they saw her do something.
And then can you equate that right back to the first lady from 1990 or 91 who came out and said, "Yeah, someone said they saw me on tape being that shade, and I don't remember that part, and Diddy was playing it at some other shit." So this is something similar to, you've been drugged, you've been hit, you've been recorded, it's been displayed to somebody else, or instead of it, you've been drugged and you've been recorded, you've been drugged and somebody walked in this time. So a similar situation. So if I can believe number one, I can believe number four.
I believe, I don't know, this might be me being racist, but I believe the older black lady. I don't believe Aubrey. Like I believe that Aubrey wanted to. Oh, this is gonna sound terrible.
Say
Aubrey sounds to me. God, it sounds bad. Aubrey sounds to me like a white chick who these football players and basketball players.
I know a bunch of them.
Your nephews and my sons. I would warn my sons about the fact that you're a good-looking black man who's talented. Be careful with all these white girls who are going to be all in your face. And what happens with that is Aubrey strikes me as, and I'm not saying that nothing negative happened to her. Mm-hmm. I don't think that to jump to the R word or the essay, I don't know about that. Do I think that he might have said, "If you do this, I might do this for you," and he didn't do that for her? Yeah, maybe. And that's
so it was a little bit of you think it was a push up, but not so much a
I believe that's a form of coercion.
Yeah,
but it is definitely coercion, and the power dynamic being the head of a label and her being one of your artists, that's absolutely wrong, and that's a power dynamic that you shouldn't cross. Do I think that she was right?
Yeah.
Do I think that it was what she said it was? No, I don't.
So you don't believe that Diddy did that to her? Not that he didn't do it to anyone, just not to her.
I don't think that he did to her the way she said it happened. Do I think that incident happened? where she was in a room with him and a friend. Yes. Do I think that if somebody walked in and saw him and the friend with her? Yes. Do I think that she was unconscious, had no idea what was going on? No. I think I know.
And just because it's her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to fix it up, but yeah, just because it's her. Because the other lady, it comes off so genuine.
Mm-hmm. When that lady said her mother sent his parents a letter, like what?
Right, and she's got a response. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's correspondence between her and this and about what happened in real time.
Right.
This is what happened. Oh, my mama went, and they respond. There's a lot there. With Aubrey, it's, well, I didn't, and watch it. I watched Making the Band. I watched it.
See, I
saw it in real time, and I saw her, and I remember when she got fired, got kicked out the band. I remember that. Now, is it because she wouldn't give up the coaching? Possibly, because there's a strong possibility in my mind that he only put her in the band because he wanted to, because he was going to do that.
He thought she was going to give it up.
Oh. Right, and she probably did once, and then decided to play that little game that ladies like to play with that. Oh, well, no, you ain't getting no more of this unless you do this and do that. And real niggas be like, okay, well, then be out.
Yo, I'm Thommy With An H. I'm the voice of the people. I speak for y'all. This is the Let's Get Canceled podcast. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, follow us on all your social media platforms. All right? Love y'all. Peace.
Yeah, so I don't know. She don't, it's...
Yeah, but here's the thing. Speaking of making the band, I started seeing a bit of a trend and a theme in some of this doc as well about Diddy not having talent. Now, does Diddy have an actual eye for talent, or is he just stealing a formula and attaching it to these artists that come around and stealing other? Because, like you say, if you give a musician a set of words and a beat, and you say, hey, this is what I got, they will eventually find a way to make it sound good if you have any talent. Mm-hmm. The way that Curry was speaking on Diddy, I gave him the words and he spit it. Hear my pride, hear my cup. Like that right there was like he was like, he has no talent at all. And for them to say that Diddy has no talent. And then you think of what they said about Brucey B in the club. They were like, Brucey B would take the R&B song and put it over a hip hop beat, like no melody, no nothing. It's just the boom bap and the R&B song. And he was like, the next thing you know, you get Jodeci and Mary J. And when you look at the remixes that he did for them, it was basically what they say, the things that Brucey B did in the club in New York. So when it comes to Diddy, was it strictly still in the formula, or do you believe he has an eye for talent? For me, you can't hit that many times unless you have an eye for talent. I don't care how many people you bring me. You can't hit that many times. You can't hit with the hits you did with Jodeci, the things you did with Mary J, the things you did with Total, the things you did with Carl, the things you did with Big, things you did with Mace, things you did with Black Rock, 112. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the dude he has gone a couple decades with, and there's no way that you can see that much talent, because everybody gets these same talented people around them. Mm-hmm. And they don't hit on that same level. And I understand, but again, is it just that eye for talent, or could anyone that he used that formula with have worked?
I think there is a talent in recognizing talent, and also there's a talent in finding and riding the wave. Mm-hmm. Now, so what he did was he took a bunch of different waves and was able to compile them all and push it forward. And you got to remember, if you talk about Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, we're talking early 90s.
Early 90s, like 92.
We were all the way in the 2010s, almost to the 2010s. Yeah. And he was consistent from 92, 02, near the 12. You understand? Right. Like, we're talking no wave lasts 20 years.
Yeah.
And so what should have destroyed him didn't. So there's talent there. Now, I can't be mad at him for not being able to spit. Like I told you last episode, and now that you know what I'm talking about.
Oh boy.
Mark Curry, when he spit that verse, I was like, oh, that was kind of hard. I never thought about it like that when he did it. Like, cause he said it when it was like, that I was like, oh, yeah. But Diddy, hear my crying. He didn't sound that bad, but he put something on that.
Curry was going in, man. That was hilarious.
And that nigga cried at the end of the show. But anyway, what I'm saying is that he is definitely talented to be able to recognize talent. He's definitely talented to be able to cultivate talent. Because think about it, the Locks were not going to get past underground stars without a Diddy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the Locks had stayed with Rough Riders and only been Rough Riders, they would have only been the background guys for DMX.
It would have been another 10 years before they actually splashed.
Right.
It would have been on the coast of DMX as opposed to the other way around.
Right. But I don't think they could have gotten the shine that they did with just DMX. And you know DMX is my favorite rapper of all time. But I don't think, because DMX was a different type of gritty.
Yeah.
And he was
I think they would have done okay, because you ended up getting the what's the Drag On and all of them. You got a great group of Drag On as opposed to one nigga who's okay and sounds a little bit like him. Like on the back of DMX and coming out with them niggas, I think they would have found their way in, but again, it wouldn't have been that level of success as it ended up being for them, because that introduction through Big, being able to be and have a track with Big and having the songs with Diddy, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing before, because we getting there, and I'm going to let you speak on this portion here. Lady T mentioned destiny swapping. And she mentioned the fact that Puffy was jealous of Pac, which a lot of people said. They made sure that they built up the friendship between Big and Pac. And that was something that was known, that he was like, I let you sleep on my couch. Like, they were together. They played the hell out of that Ready to Die before it came out. So there was a relationship there, and he wanted to work with Pac, and Pac turned him down for whatever reasons. And the fact that she equated all of these deaths with Diddy. Now, the Tupac murder. I will say that I've heard the stories from Keefe D saying that there was a price put on some time before, and then there was a fight that happened that ended up triggering what went on, and they say Puffy called like, was that us? And I don't think that was the same hit, but it can be. And then as far as the Big situation goes, I think both of you guys agreed on this point that Biggie was worth more dead than alive.
Did not agree with that. Nope.
You didn't agree with that. Okay, and that's why I'm going to leave this with you. That's why I'm going to leave this with you, because this is where you and her, I think, had the biggest butting of heads, or just because I know you were just listening. You were listening. Yeah, because she was going, and it was like she had a list.
She did. I think she was reading. I think I heard her take a flip. She said, and then
it was one of them yellow legal pads. That's what you heard. You heard a yellow legal pad. But I think that's where you guys, like, when it came to the destiny swapping and the conspiracy theories of it all, I think that's where you and her came into.
I agree with her to a degree on the destiny swapping thing. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, as far as him trying to build this persona. Mm-hmm. You see in your mind, you have what your father was. Mm-hmm. And so you start seeing guys who are either equal to or on the way to what your father was. Mm-hmm. And so you attach yourself to these people, and then you find out, hey, every man is vulnerable somewhere. So if I can exploit that vulnerability, then I can take over his spot. And not only that, where most men are vulnerable is with a woman. Yeah. So if I can get to her, that is the biggest flex. If a man wanted to get at you, then he would just take over. And if he could take your woman, he feel like he just took your whole man.
That's why Hit 'Em Up went the way it did.
Exactly. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. There is nothing. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's nothing to say to that.
Before then, the hardest intro to a diss track was, God damn, I'm glad y'all said it off. Like, that's a way. It's the way. So I agree with her with the destiny swapping thing. Now, do I agree with her when it comes to it being metaphysical and ethereal?
Because she mentioned the New York City
she told
basketball
me it was
game
sacrifice. That's what she said. She said, now that right there, and honestly, I looked at that and went, oh, that's a dumb kid who didn't think that all the way through. In my opinion, that's what it felt like. Now, do I think he cared about what happened to the people? Absolutely not. Do I think that he would have done things differently if it would have cost him the same amount of money? Not if he could have made the same amount of money. I don't think he would have done anything different. I think he's a bad person. So do I think he sacrificed people at a school gym to get? No, I don't. I think it was a dumb kid doing dumb stuff, or not even dumb stuff. I think he legitimately was trying to make some money, and he just didn't think it all the way through. And unfortunately and tragically, something very tragic happened, and people lost their lives.
Here's the thing: when I think of that entire piece, I had to go back and look at that all over again. What that was niggas being niggas.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of niggas at a $15, so like this is 1990 something. So $15 was
a lot.
That was a good little grip. It's probably about $25, $30 this day for a basketball game, celebrity basketball game. And you got niggas doing what we always do, man. Hey, man, we're just gonna bum rush the door.
Yep.
We're gonna hit it. If we all hit it at the same time, they can't stop us all. We've all done it. And if you haven't done it, I would not suggest doing it any longer. But we all did it. And then when you get to a point where, these doors don't go out, and these people at the bottom cannot, and nobody at the top of the stairs is understanding that these people down here are getting crushed.
Right.
That's one of those situations where I think the niggas just did a bunch of nonsense. However, here's where I think things went a little diabolical, and I didn't know, because I always heard that he gave his mother 75% of bad boy. I thought that was just a great gesture as a son. I'm gonna make sure my mother takes care of all of my business. She's got me under control. I know this other 25% right here goes to my buddy Kurt, but 75%, my mother's gonna be in charge of my business. I was like, boy, that's what I would do. I'll let my mom be in charge of my bread, because, hey, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing that he did this allegedly to avoid having to pay.
Listen, but you got to remember, I want to bring your attention to something. Right now, a lot of people are doing, a lot of celebrities came out the same way, where it was like, my mom is going to hold all my bread. Mm-hmm. So if you decide to try to come after me, you can get on the books. I'm only worth $2 million. When you're trying to say that I'm worth $150 million, I'm only worth $2 million on the books. Yeah, because
I think there was a soccer player or a boxer or something like that that did the same thing. His wife tried to get half, and she was like, "It's not fair." He was like, "Well, I don't own anything. I'm on payroll."
Right. Yeah. And
I thought Diddy was, again, this is what I heard in the very beginning. So me being a naive teenager, that's when I get my money. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give my bread to my mama. Let my mama handle all my bread. Let's go. And then they were like, no, he gave me 25%. He gave 75% to his mom, because if he gets sued, he didn't want to have to pay the people.
And it's smart.
It's smart, but it's a piece of shit move, because you know that you organized this. You are liable for these people's deaths.
But that leads into what Lady T was alluding to, that he went into that knowing people were going to die. And I don't know
they're going to die. I don't think he knew they were going to die.
I don't think he cared. I don't think he cared if they did.
And that's the thing. He didn't
even see that as a possibility. I don't think he could see it as a possibility. Well, you know what? We're going to put this on, you know what I'm saying? And there's a possibility that something could go wrong and people are going to die. I don't think he thought about it that way. I think he thought about it as, I bet I could get all of this area to come here, and I get these celebrities in here. I'm going to look like the man, and I'm going to make some money, and it's going to solidify my star in this area, and then I can take over the rest. Didn't give any thought to security. Didn't give any thought to egress and exits and emergency. He didn't give. So
But
I
this
think
is what made his name in the industry at that point. Like you get some profile off of horrible press, and understand. Andre said we gotta get rid of you. You can't be here anymore. And the fact that he gave him Craig Mack and Big to walk out the door with to start his company.
yeah, not only did he give him Craig Mack and Big, he gave him Craig Mack, Big, and his blessing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so he was in the midst of building his resources, and he had the biggest resource in Andre Harrell still at his back, even though he had to go. You got to get away from Uptown. You can't be here at Uptown no more. But you know what? You can always pick up the phone and call me. And I can always make a phone call on your behalf if you need me to. So he set him up for, if he would have failed at that point, I don't understand that. He would have been, if he failed at that point, to me, he's Lil Romeo. Like you had the biggest name in the game, really directing you and giving you everything you needed, and you just fumbled the bag. So in his defense, he has the brain and the know-how to really get going. And let's be honest, Andre Harrell wasn't going to know what to do with Biggie. Wasn't going to know what to do with Craig Mack.
Yeah, because you couldn't turn Biggie into Heavy D.
No, right, and that was going to be the problem. If you tried to, you're going to fail. But the only reason, like Puffy failed trying to turn Shine into Big.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Now, us niggas, Sean Poe, bruh, when that album came on, Dear America. Oh my God. I was like, yo, this nigga.
Because way too many people was like, he sound like Big. I'm like, no, he doesn't. I didn't hear it.
He did a little bit. He did.
I didn't hear I think I was way too into Big for me to hear his voice anywhere outside him.
He sounded like Big. He sounded like somebody trying to do an impression of Big until you heard him in an interview and you went, oh no, that's
how he talks.
And so and so it was like, okay, cool. But Puffy originally was trying to push him to spit like Big, but he could
spit.
Oh my God, he could do his thing. You know what I'm saying? And that Belizean influence. This is when D started leaning into his cultural heritage. Because my boy D, his parents are from Belize. Like if you meet his grandfather was high up in Belize, and like the soccer teams and stuff like that. Like, so I've met, but that nigga was Belizean for real. That Sean Poe came up, but we know that.
Now you can hear the accent a little bit. Huh?
But the thing is, though, is with that, she referred to that as a blood sacrifice. Like he did that, and that was supposed to be a blood sacrifice, and that's when she lost me. Like honestly, at that point, it was difficult for me to listen to the rest, and not because, and I'm not talking bad about her specifically. What I'm saying is that was crazy to me because that so many things have to go a certain way, and you have to suspend disbelief, and you have to believe so many things in order for that to be accurate.
For me, the blood sacrifice portion of it goes, there were way too many strangers. Like, I thought the blood sacrifice had to mean something to you. And you lost absolutely nothing in that. You lost nothing. You gained fame, you gained a name. Like, for me, a blood sacrifice has got to be somebody that you know. If I need you to commit a blood sacrifice, you better lead.
All the people have to be around.
They were the ram in the bush. That's what they were. All those people were the ram in the bush.
Those other people, like, think about it. All the famous people that were there, where are they? They're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
They're all gone. And what's bad about that though is that now that I'm thinking about it, I don't believe it was a blood sacrifice unless she was trying to say that blood was spilled and he became famous. Then
because it had to be blood spilled.
No, then see that's where that line. I'm not crossing that line. What I'm saying is if by blood sacrifice she means that he got fame off of the spilling of innocent blood, then yes. If you're saying that in order for him to get the fame, he had to spill innocent blood, then no, I'm not with you.
See, that's the.
You see the difference.
I'm pretty sure we'll get. Hopefully we'll get a comment on that. Hopefully she'll put a comment on that one and get that part into the force. But there's some other things in there, and I think the last thing that I want to touch on is Kurt Burrows.
Yeah.
No. The last thing, yeah. Kirk Burroughs. I think I want to touch on that piece, and that's going to be the end of me on this particular
Now,
thing.
before you go,
I don't even want to go into the hooker. I don't even want to talk about it.
Before you go into it, this is a point that she was absolutely right, because she said I did not focus enough on that because he was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Lady T, you are absolutely right. So if you took that as I didn't get on into that portion, and so it does make you sound like a fan, I'll concede that point. You're absolutely right, because you go ahead and you tell me what you got from Kirk.
Like, and when she called and she mentioned it to me, and she was like, "Who you think the star?" And before I could say it, she said it with me. Kirk. He was the star of this episode because, again, someone coming from the beginning. And when I mentioned that 75% to his mom and the 25% went to the buddy, well, Kirk is that buddy.
Yep.
Kirk Burroughs was there from the Uptown days and made his way to the bad boy. And when he mentioned during this that maybe he was complicit in some of this. And I know maybe I was I think he said his words were the first disciple. Maybe I was the first disciple.
Right. Yep. That's what he said.
And when you're watching someone at that level, and I think we mentioned this last time, when you're seeing someone on the ascent, you want to attach yourself to that so you overlook some of these things that go wrong. But the fact that Kurt was able to spill all of the background details, and then to say that now again, he did mention that Big was trying to get out of LA and get to overseas to do interviews. He was supposed to go with Big. Yeah, he was supposed to get to the UK, and he was supposed to go with Big that morning, and Diddy hung up on him and all that stuff. Now, Lil C's came out and said that was not the case. He said that the fact that they were not able to get some of their other people along with him, I think his road manager wasn't able to go along to the UK with him due to passport issues. So Big was like, if it's just going to be me and C's, I don't want to go. Yeah. And that sort of thing. Now, did Diddy have something to do with the people not getting their passports? Could be. Was there something in the background? Like, listening to Lady T, you're going to believe that Puff was going to make sure that boy stayed in LA for that day for that party. But Big, in all of his interviews when he was going out there, kept saying he wanted to be there. I love Cali. That y'all can't run me away from here. People out here still show me love. I'm going to keep showing love. Like, up to his last interview, this was what he said. Now, for Kirk to come out and say, well, nah, because Big was trying to get out of there. He didn't want to go to LA. He didn't want to be there. That's the contradiction, and that kind of puts a little bit of a. But you might be hating, bro.
You got to remember, you're you, and my wife could ask me right now if I wanted to do something, or like me and you got plans. My wife could say, "Are you going to such and such?" And I can tell her like, "Oh, I don't really feel like going. I'm tired or whatever." And then I can talk to you on the phone and be like, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Like, we probably should go. I'm not lying to either one of you. I'm just going back and forth. And at the moment, I'm talking. So it could be something like that, where it was like, I'm with my boy C's, and of course, I'm having a blast over here. I love LA. You know what I'm saying? And I think Lil C's even made a comment like, he was like, so who's going to handle the business? Lil C's?
Yeah, like, Lil C's? C's handle the business?
Like, I'm not doing that. And I can understand that conversation happening. And I can also understand talking to Puff or the business people going, no, I really want to get over there. We got to handle business. We got to get, you know what I'm saying?
It's a good look. It's a good look. I'm the first one of bad boy. Yeah.
Right.
But now, do you think that, again, tapping into Lady T, do you think there was just Diddy had his hands sprinkled in there a little bit? He had to get him out of there?
In order for me to believe that, I would have to believe that Diddy set Big up, and I don't.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe Diddy. And I don't believe that Diddy, I don't believe Big was worth more dead than alive, because the reason being is because Big was just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Big had one album out. And if you go by Puff's history, he's going to drain his artists until they get to, you know what I'm saying, until they're no longer worth it, and then he'll throw them to the side. He tried with Craig Mack with the first Flavor in Your Ear, and then with Project Funk the World. Like, he tried to go ahead and see if he could pull anything else out of that. And then when it was
Big had already taken over by then. Big had already taken over. He had to make a choice
between Big and Craig Mack. Throw you away. Mark Curry, bro, like, he wasn't ever You know what I'm saying? It wasn't ever. Black Rob had his one single that was really dope, even though I really like Dame Espacio. I don't, that was my joint. But like stuff like that. Like, so I watched Puff through the years. Now, one thing that Lady T, one of her points was that he was jealous of Big. Like he wanted Big out of the way. And that does ring true with his history of, as she calls it, destiny swapping.
Yeah. But I do remember there was an interview where Big and Puff were talking, and he was like, yeah, we're going to switch roles on this one. I'm going to be the producer. He going to be the artist. So Big was already talking into where he was going to go ahead and move to the background, let Puffy do his thing and write for him and all this stuff right here. But when you mentioned Puffy trying to drain the last little squeezes out of his artists, who did he actually get to do that with? Because Big died, Mac got replaced, Mace decided he wanted to go preach, so he couldn't do it. The Locks ran off after one. Total ran off real quick. I think he got, 2 albums out of Faith? Who else was there? I think Carl Thomas got one good album out of Bad Boy. Like I said, we mentioned all of these people that he hit with, but I don't think he was able to squeeze the juice out of the headphones for real.
What I'm saying is, you know what, you got a point. You got a real point. But none of those other artists were as big as Biggie.
Were big. None of them were big. Yeah.
Right. So
but do you realize how big it made for him to come out with the Missing You song immediately after Big, get on this MTV stage? You put the nigga who originated the song to come and sing back up to you and your homies. When you get Sting on stage to sing a police song, like, you made this moment.
Yeah.
You took the most tragic thing ever. And
that's what I mean. He's a terrible human being.
Did he get big? Hold up. Did he get bigger than Big would have been as an artist?
Yeah. As an artist, not as an artist, as an entity, as an entity. Like, and by that I mean, Big never reached Tupac status as an entity. Like there's very minimal people on the West Coast who will vouch for Big the same, like the amount of people on the East Coast that'll vouch for Pop.
Because we got 6-7 albums out of Pop before he left.
Right. And so that's why I don't think, but I think that Big had another 2 in him. Like, because Life After Death was coming. Now, here's I had this conversation the other day, and I want to preface this by saying I am a Biggie fan. I'm prefacing this with I'm a huge Biggie fan. I'm a much bigger fan of Biggie than I am of Pop. Life After Death was not on the level of Ready to Die. It was good, and it was acclaimed because he had just died. And I'm not saying it's a bad album. I'm saying it's definitely a sophomore slump album, though. It is definitely not on the same level as Ready to Die.
It's not as hard as Ready to Die, but dadgummit, that thing was. We're gonna probably have to do an episode on track for track, even though it's double CD and all that. We can do a track for track. We can do a top 10 and see how many fall from the top 10 from Ready to Die and how many fall from top 10 on Life After Death.
Right. I want to go on record. I started out saying I'm a Biggie fan, and I will listen to Life After Death right now. Like, that's a hard album. That's a dope album. But
I listen to Ready to Die damn near every week.
Yeah.
That's just me. I listen to Ready to Die almost every week. I hardly ever go back to Life After Death, but I listen to Ready to Die every week. But I do have a couple of songs on there that I'll pull over. And just depending on what the mood is, because that Sky's the Limit joint goes crazy hard. The joint with R. Kelly goes crazy. The joint with Too Short goes crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bone and Biggie, that when you put that thing on first, it's just this Bone and Biggie, Bone and, like, every now and again, you just need
that verse right now. I can spit Biggie's verse right now.
You know
most niggas can.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
Was that on Life After Death, or was that on the Biggie duets? No.
That's Life After Death.
No, it was on Life After Death.
Yeah, that's Life After Death. Yeah. So yeah, we can do that. But again, just to give again my impression on the overall of this episode or of these episodes is Diddy has this persona, and again, I believe he wants to just be like the gangsters that he saw in the past, and he is trying to live up to that. I do think, like you said, he does have an eye for talent, but he also knows how to steal a formula and make it work. And when you said that nigga rode the wave for 20 years and ain't no wave lasted 20 years, like that man created a couple waves, man.
Right.
He created some wave, but I don't know where he got them from. That's the only thing. I don't know where he got them from.
He mixed. He's an alchemist. He was able to take a piece of this because I
kind of like Jay-Z, huh? Kind of like Jay-Z.
No, because Jay-Z can actually spit.
He can spit, but dang it, that nigga changed up the way he spit a couple times. Cause when that nigga got with Lil Chris, I was like, that nigga sound like Chris and Neef right there. Like, yeah, he definitely took a little bit of this from. Okay, but Diddy
Diddy did a little
bit more.
He's an alchemist. He's able to say, hey, look, Thommy With an H over there is doing his thing. I like what he's doing. He's missing this piece, but he doesn't know where that piece is. But that guy over there, he's got that piece. So if I put these two pieces together and then I take a sprinkle of this over here and then I grab this right here. So there is nobody better at taking all the small things from other people and making it my thing. He can't be beat at that. And I think that takes a real talent. And it's a talent that most successful record executives have. Mm-hmm. He just was able to put it in with his own personality and get in front of the camera. Yeah. And get behind the microphone.
I think him as a producer was great. I think him as an exec was a piece of shit. Him as a person was a piece of shit.
As a producer, you think he's great, but as a record exec, I don't.
As a record exec, I just think he's a bad person. But most of them are. Most of them are out to, and it's all about making that money for you and through the artist.
This is probably a bad example because of who I'm about to cite.
Please don't go with Lady T when she says she's a fan of Suge Knight now.
Oh no. I didn't even get into that part because I was going to go there, but now we don't have that kind of time tonight. But I saw a clip, like a reel today, and it was what's the dude? Beyonce daddy.
Okay.
And he was explaining how he said most of these young artists don't understand what recoup means. And he goes, let me explain to you like this. He said, let's break it down real simple. Let's say you create an album, that album makes $100. Like just small. It cost $100 to produce, and it made you $100. So you've got a 10% royalty, right? And so he's like, so it costs $100 to make, but it only made $100. And so the host said, oh, so you're at $0. He goes, no, you owe 90%. He goes, because that 10%, you've got to pay all those expenses out of that 10%. That 90%, that's the money that the record label gets from the top. That is not. You got to pay all these expenses out of the 10%. So that's what I think me and Lady T got into that a little bit on the phone. I was like, you got to understand, like him saying this group's got to recoup all the money for the studio, like he owned Daddy's house and then he's charging them for that. That's everywhere. Yeah. Every record label is going to do that, whether they own the studio or whether you got to go somewhere to go record. If they're paying for it, they're going to do it all up front. Your meals when you're flying private to go to England and all that stuff, you don't get all that. But when the sales come in and the numbers come in, you pay for all of that.
Yeah, everything's coming out of your check. But here's the one thing that I just didn't like about that piece, and again, just as the execs do, when these are your artists and you force your way onto their songs and then you force a check out of them. There's no need for you to come onto a song and be like, take that, and give yourself a check because you forced your way onto my shit.
Yep.
That's the part of what Suge Knight said was real. If you want to, don't want your CEO hauling the video, dancing, singing, come to death row. Like that's where I understand what Suge was talking about. However, side note, I also, when he initially said it, because Diddy came out during that show and said, I'm the one he was talking about. I thought he was talking about JD.
Everybody did.
I actually thought he was talking about Jermaine.
There's still rumors that originally he was talking about JD.
Yeah.
That's a different show. There are rumors that he was actually talking about JD because they were in Atlanta at the time, I think.
No, they were in New York.
They were in New York at the time?
Yeah, they were in New York. Because that's why Outkast was getting booed.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Outkast was getting booed. Yeah. And the South got something to say, that whole debacle. But man, but like I said, it was a good doc. So if you have not seen it, I'm gonna give it a cosign as well. You guys get in the comments. Let me know if I was wrong about anything I saw. I think I locked in pretty well, especially after knowing some things to look into. and I think I pulled some things out that maybe everybody sees it, but everybody wasn't able to articulate it properly that way. But yeah, like I say, just Diddy trying to be his father is what really came to me. And as I'm watching it, I'm watching this young man trying to be this gangster and live this life.
I think that's the whole documentary, and I knew that's why I told you had to watch it because I know you, and I know the way you would look at it. I think that whole thing was somebody who was trying to achieve something from a young age, and that drive to be noticed and be famous and to be feared and desired, like what he thinks his father was.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more he went, the more it was like, oh, well, I can forget these other people.
Right.
I don't care about these other people as long as I'm rising up the list. So there's a lot of other stuff in this documentary, like the fact, like I said before, like the fact that his sons were there talking with some, like some of that stuff just didn't seem. I don't care if I'm completely 100% innocent. There's some stuff that, and I don't care how old my son is. Yeah, I got a kid who's 24, and I got a kid who's 16. Then no age, it was my child going to be involved in that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, some of that stuff. And then we didn't even get to the end part, but everybody knows what all that stuff is. We didn't even get into the physical abusing of women. But
and that part of it, like, because that's so out of mind. Like I saw it.
Right.
I saw what he did. I saw what they were sending, what they were attempting to lock him up for. You know what? The courts did what they needed to do, but as far as how we got there, and I think that's where the deeper dive for me came into it was what caused him to be this person and how he ends up there, the things that he saw, the things that he started to build, and the people that were around him. And like I say, just looking at Kurt, I'm not gonna say you could have stopped any of this, but you could have raised a. There's a lot of things that go on that you can raise a red flag.
You didn't have to help
to put it on you can put it on somebody's radar a lot earlier. And again, just to end this, with all of the abuses and things that everyone saw, nobody raised the flag.
Nobody.
Why did it take so long for the Cassie tape to come out? If anyone had it, the hotel had it. There's no way he can pay his way out of this one.
Hey, listen, man, I'm telling you now, if I'm the guy at the hotel who got my hands on that tape, first thing I'm doing is calling the police. Once I call the police, then I'm calling TMZ.
Right. It's out of there.
I'm gonna get paid. Yeah. But I'm gonna
want to pay me $50. How much y'all want? But it's getting out.
Right. It's coming out one way or the other. It's coming out my hands, and the police are gonna have to be involved because I can't, in good conscience, let that slide.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of points along the way, and I think that's another good narrative of this documentary. There's a lot of points down his path where somebody could have at least thrown a speed bump in there, and they didn't. You understand what I'm saying? So as much as we want to point fingers at Diddy because he's a terrible person, and he is, I think that we got to start looking at us as a people, and people. 50 Cent. Do I think 50 Cent did this documentary because he cares about the victims? Absolutely not. He's 50 Cent. But he did make one comment that I agree with. He said that if I don't say anything, he's like, nobody else is saying anything. If I don't say anything, people think that hip hop is okay with this behavior.
Right.
And right. I don't believe that he said that from a pure place, but I do agree with the sentiment.
Yeah. You know it really does seem like this is just hip hop. This is hip hop, and this is what everybody's been doing all this time. Because even some of the stuff that, even not from this documentary, but some of the things that you've heard about Death Row back in the day and things that was going on over there, some of the people that was getting screwed out of money in the record business, period. Like, and some of the abuses that have gone on, again, Dre and D Barnes and all that kind of, like sometimes you just niggas need to be out there. But here's another thing. If we gonna bang on Diddy, there's a couple of you other niggas that might need to get dumped. I'm just saying, y'all better watch out.
So here's the deal. My final take on this is, I'm probably gonna listen to the Bad Boys for Life or whatever album I feel like tonight. Just like I listen to R. Kelly songs, I play R. Kelly songs. I listen to Michael Jackson music, I play Michael Jackson music, and I listen to James Brown music. I listen to all these people. Just like I'll watch a Roman Polanski movie, I'll watch a Woody Allen movie. the art and the artists are two different things to me. So
Indeed.
I think there's some terrible people who make great art.
Indeed. And cousin, we're gonna be great people, so we don't have to end up on nobody documentary. That's where I'm in.
Oh, you do a documentary on me from this morning tomorrow. I'm telling you now. Yeah, then he woke up and went to work, and he talked smack with his cousin for an hour.
Right. He talked a lot of shit. That nigga be home all the time.
Right. Yo, you were out every night. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You better ask him about it.
Right.
Anyway, well, cousin, listen, man, thank y'all so much, bro. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Again, like I said, man, if you like what you hear, you like what you see, you want to see more content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe. We want you to interact with us in the comments. Follow us on all of your social media platforms. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We're everywhere, all right? Also, if you like what you heard today and you want to kind of go back and listen to all this stuff, you can find every one of these video episodes on YouTube. And if you want to just listen to it, you can find them on wherever you stream your audio podcast. We are there, all right? We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us, and hopefully we can keep doing this for a long time to come. If you got an opinion on this whole Diddy documentary, if you think, like Lady T thought, that I just watched it from the perspective of a fan of Diddy, please comment, let us know. If you think that Thommy missed something because he just watched it from the hip-hop aficionado's standpoint, please comment, man. Let us know, because we'll go back into it again. We ain't going to spend 3 years on this joint, but we'll talk about it if y'all want to talk about it. I'll tell you that now. But until next time, hey, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
We ain't got canceled yet, man, so we got to do this again, bro.
We're going to do it again next week, bro, man. Love you, love y'all, man. Y'all be easy.
Love you, boy. Love y'all, man. Y'all peace.